Yeah.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama. This is Ghost Talk with 187 PI. Sit back and prepare yourselves for an adventure into the paranormal world with host Shelly Robinson and 187 PI research team. Ghost Talk is broadcasting live from Ohio's most haunted jail. Learn about their ongoing research at the jail and abroad, investigation techniques, and their personal encounters. Here is your host of Ghost Talk and 187 PI founder, Shelly Robinson.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ghost Talk Radio. I have an interesting show planned for you tonight, which deals with holiday hauntings. But before we get started, I want to invite all my listening friends tonight to join me in chat at WBHM-DB.com, where you can join in on the conversation and share any stories you may have regarding your own holiday haunting. So, I just have to say, friends, it's so great to be back on the air with everyone tonight. The last couple of months have been trying indeed, with family and friends passing on to the spirit world. But you know what? Despite all of life's happenings, we still must push on, as life itself still happens. And right now, I'm in a good place and doing okay. So I hope everyone had a fabulous Thanksgiving spent with families and friends yesterday. I actually had a pretty darn good day myself with my husband and his parents. Good food and good company is always awesome. Speaking on Thanksgiving just a little bit, I want to talk just a short time about some things that people don't think about. Excuse me. I want to send my support and sympathies to all the Native Americans who gathered at noon yesterday on Coles Hill in Plymouth, Massachusetts, to commemorate their National Day of Mourning on our U.S. Thanksgiving holiday. Some of you may not know that many Native Americans do not celebrate the arrival of pilgrims and other European settlers. Thanksgiving Day is a reminder to them of the genocide of millions of Native people, the theft of their land, and the relentless assault on Native culture. The participants in the National Day of Mourning, they honor their Native ancestors as a day of remembrance and spiritual connection for them. So I want to say, may peace, love, and light be with all the mourners that participated in the National Day of Mourning. You see, friends, there is much more to the story of Thanksgiving than we were taught in schools. And without making this into like a full-blown history lesson for you all tonight, which might be kind of boring, just go to Google, type up the real story of Thanksgiving, and you'll find a lot of great reads with facts and some great documentation. Those of you who have never read any of this before, you will find it truly amazing that this holiday still even exists as we celebrate it today, which I will tell you, the first time I read all of this stuff and saw documents, and I was a little bit shocked myself. I do give thanks, not just one day a year, but every day. Every day I am thankful for getting to live yet another day. and for friends and family, and tons of the small stuff that many times we take for granted. I mean, even the small things you must consider those to be blessings as well. So, with all of that, let's start this off with some Thanksgiving facts and hauntings, shall we? Some of them are quite interesting. Thanksgiving is a very big and special holiday, of course. We all know this. When families meet and gather. Well, it's not only for us, but for ghosts as well. There's been many reports of people who have looked at photos of their family dinner gatherings and seen a ghost of a deceased family member present in the photo. I have come across many, many claims of this. Now, before the establishment of former religions, many ancient farmers believed that their crops contained spirits which caused the crops to grow and die. Many also believed that these spirits would be released when the crops were harvested, and they thought that they had to be destroyed or they would take revenge on the farmers who harvest them. Some of the harvest festivals also celebrated the defeat of these spirits. So I think that's quite amazing. Some paranormal investigators believe that the energy of groups is important and that it helps or causes the manifestations to occur. And I do believe that can be the case. You know, some more of the energies, it's more for the spirits to feed off of. You know, many times, strong emotions and remembrances of those that died, they can trigger the ghost into appearing. And I think that certainly could happen. For example, you know, you're all at your family dinner gathering and Uncle Ned's ghost is appearing in the annual family picture. Could it be possible? I think absolutely. Thanksgiving is a day and a time of remembering, and maybe this day the dead remember us too and do return. Many EVP have been captured on videos and recordings during the Thanksgiving holiday, and there's been some paranormal investigators report that they keep a recorder on all day in their homes with amazing results. Now, I personally have never done that. Well, I might try it sometime, though. There are many people who believe, and I found this to be a little comical, but not so outlandish. They believe that family members come back to watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade that takes place in New York City. Now, I will say, I have watched that year after year. I did miss it this year, but I went and checked out Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade site, so I still got to see all the floats and the balloons that they had in the parade. But they say, a lot of people have said that they have saw apparitions and even took pictures of them in New York lining up for the parade. So I would think maybe some of them show up in your house too if you're watching it. I mean, it's hard to tell. People reported seeing ghosts in New York City for hundreds of years, you know. And some locations in New York City are reported to be so haunted. Whether or not you go there and see a ghost or not, the New York City landmarks and buildings are some of the most reported haunted places. Many people have reported seeing ghosts as they wait for the parade, and they photograph them, and I just find that astounding. Let's talk about, here's an interesting case. Let's talk about a mysterious death of Thomas Ince, okay? and The Haunting of Culver Studios. Now, we're going to be talking about all these Thanksgiving Day hauntings because there's a lot of them, actually. On November 19th in 1924, Hollywood movie producer Thomas Ince, he died after celebrating his 42nd birthday aboard a yacht belonging to a newspaper publisher known as William Hearst. But I will tell you, to this very day, the cause of death has, never been concluded. It's still a mystery. And so they think that that is maybe why his ghost still wanders the movie studio that he founded. Thomas Ince, he was actually a pioneering member of Hollywood's elite. And in 1918, he did found Culver Studios, and it was considered to be, he was the father of the Western. Almost a century later, Culver Studios remains one of Hollywood's most historic studios. It was the site of filming this most favorite movie, Gone with the Wind, Citizen Kane, and other classics. Now, over the years, the film lot, it had been home to such names as Howard Hughes, Desilu Studios, and it was also the birthplace for some of these movies or these television shows I'm sure y'all have heard of, which was the Andy Griffith Show, Lassie, Hogan's Heroes, and even Batman. And I have seen some of all of those shows. Actually, I used to watch Andy Griffith's Show quite a bit when I was coming up. Strangely, though, death didn't bring an end to the sightings of Thomas Ince, and his mysterious death also started rumors about Culver Studios being haunted. Ince built the studios, but they changed hands several times after his death. Several times it's changed hands, and some of the people who were associated with the studio was Howard Hughes, David Selznick, Desilu, and Lucille Ball. Those people made significant contributions to film and television history on this lot. Now, the rumors of the haunting, those persisted for years. Employees have reported ghostly figures roaming the lot at night, while others recount being frightened by an apparition of a woman who appears on the third floor from time to time. She always disappears quickly, they say, leaving a cold spot of chilling wind behind. So I guess that would be a sight to see. But the most famous sighting, however, is that of Thomas Ince himself. Witnesses have reported seeing the ghost of a man climbing the stairs in the main administration building, heading for the executive screening room. Well, this had been Ince's private projection room during his tenure at the studio. Now, the remodeling of the building seemed to bring out the worst in the Ince's ghost, and in 1988, he began to his displeasure over some of the major renovations. He was not happy about it. And a lot of times, speaking of renovations of properties, that is a lot of times will stir up activity. The first encounter was said to be a couple of workmen who looked up to see a man with a odd-shaped hat on, and the man that they saw was watching them from the catwalk above stage 1, 2, 3. And then when they spoke to him, he frowned and turned around and he walked through the second floor wall. So as you can imagine, everyone was startled. Later that summer, there was a special effects man named Eugene, and he spoke to another worker who had also seen a man wearing this odd hat, this time on stage 2, 3, 4. And Eugene was convinced